January 16, 2026. Mexican authorities arrested Alejandro Rosales Castillo in Pachuca, Hidalgo after nearly a decade on the run. This was on just another fugitive arrest. This was an FBI 10 most wanted criminal with a $250,000 bounty on his head. What did he do to earn that spot? Let's break down this entire case. Who is Alejandro Rosales Castillo? Born November 26, 1998 in Arizona, Castillo is now 27 years old. Before the murder, he worked at a restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nothing about him screamed future murderer, just a regular guy working a regular job. On October 24, 2017, he became fugitive number 516 on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. The FBI offered $250,000 for information leading to his arrest. To put that in perspective, the FBI only offers that kind of money when they're absolutely determined to catch someone. The murder of Sandy Leb, August 2016, Charlotte, North Carolina. The victim was 23-year-old Traquan Sandy Lila. Here's where this gets dark. Sandy was Castillo's former co-worker and ex-girlfriend. They'd worked together at the same restaurant and briefly dated. But there's more. Castillo owed Sandy about $1,000, so what happened? According to authorities, Castillo contacted Sandy claiming he wanted to repay the debt. Sandy agreed to meet him, probably relieved she'd finally get her money back. Instead, Castillo forced her to withdraw money from her own bank account. Think about that. He owed her money, but made her withdraw cash from her account. Then he drove her to a wooded area in Cabarrus County and shot her in the head. Her body was found dumped in a ravine. The charges: first-degree murder, robbery with a dangerous weapon, unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, and vehicle theft. Why did he do it? This is the question everyone asks. Why murder someone over $1,000? The truth is, we may never fully understand his motive. Was it just about the money? Was there something else between them? Did he plan this from the beginning, or did something go wrong? What we do know is that he lured her with false promises, robbed her, and killed her. That level of premeditation suggests this wasn't a spontaneous act. This was calculated. The escape after the murder in August 2016. Castillo fled to Mexico. Surveillance footage caught him crossing the border from Nogales, Arizona into Mexico. Once across that border, he effectively vanished. Why Mexico? Simple. Castillo spoke fluent Spanish, had possible family connections there, and knew he'd be harder to track in another country. For the FBI, this changed everything. They couldn't just drive down and arrest him. They needed international cooperation. The FBI's response: in 2017, federal authorities issued a warrant for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Then came the big move. The FBI added Castillo to the 10 most wanted fugitives list in October 2017. What does being on the 10 most wanted list actually mean? It means you're a national priority. It means the FBI dedicates significant resources to finding you. It means your face is everywhere: news stations, social media, wanted posters. The FBI also coordinated with Interpol, which issued a red notice for Castillo. A red notice is essentially a global alert that tells law enforcement worldwide, if you see this person, arrest them immediately. But years passed. 2017 became 2018, then 2019, 2020, 2021. No sign of Castillo. Was the trail going cold? How did he stay hidden so long? Nearly 10 years on the run. How did he manage it? He likely used false documents and worked under the table to avoid official records. Speaking fluent Spanish meant he could blend into Mexican society without raising suspicion. He probably stayed in smaller cities or towns where he wouldn't attract attention. The key to staying hidden isn't being clever, it's being boring. Don't draw attention. Don't break laws that get you noticed. Live quietly. And for almost a decade, that strategy worked. The breakthrough. So what changed? How did they finally find him after all these years? International cooperation. The FBI worked continuously with Mexican federal police and Interpol, sharing intelligence and following every lead. Tips came in over the years thanks to that $250,000 reward and the publicity from the 10 most wanted list. Slowly, investigators pieced together where he might be. Modern investigative techniques, surveillance technology, digital tracking, informant networks, all played a role. On January 16, 2026, Mexican authorities moved in on a location in Pachuca, Hidalgo. They found him. After 3,426 days on the run, Alejandro Rosales Castillo was in custody. What happened after the arrest? Castillo was detained in Mexico City while extradition proceedings began. Mexican officials confirmed he had an active Interpol red notice and multiple arrest warrants from the United States. What's extradition? It's the legal process where one country sends a fugitive back to another country to face criminal charges. Mexico and the US have an extradition treaty, meaning they cooperate on cases like this. Given the severity of the charges: first-degree murder, and the fact that he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, extradition approval is highly likely. Once extradited to North Carolina, he'll face trial for murder. Law enforcement statements after the arrest. Several officials spoke publicly. FBI Charlotte special agent in charge, Investigators never gave up the hunt for justice after nearly 10 years. That's not just a statement, that's a promise kept. This case could have gone cold. Instead, they worked it for a decade. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police. They expressed hope that the arrest brings some solace to the victim's family. FBI Director Kash Patel, he praised the teamwork and commitment across multiple agencies and countries. These statements highlight something important. This wasn't just one agency working alone. This was the FBI, North Carolina Police, Mexican Federal Police, Interpol, and countless investigators across 2 countries. What about Sandy's family? For nearly 10 years, Sandy's family lived with an impossible reality. The person accused of murdering their daughter was free while she was gone forever. They couldn't get closure. They couldn't move forward. Every birthday, every holiday, every milestone was a reminder of what they'd lost. Now, with Castillo in custody, they can finally see the justice system move forward. Will it bring Sandy back? No. Will it erase their pain? No, but it's something. After a decade of waiting, it's movement toward accountability. Key questions answered. Will Castillo face the death penalty? Possibly. North Carolina allows the death penalty for first-degree murder with aggravating factors. The prosecution will decide whether to pursue it. Factors they'll consider include premeditation, the robbery, and the brutal nature of the crime. How long will extradition take? It varies, but typically several months. Both countries need to process paperwork, review evidence, and ensure legal requirements are met. Given the high-profile nature of this case, it may move faster. What's the strongest evidence against him? While we don't have access to all the evidence, authorities likely have surveillance footage from the bank withdrawal, forensic evidence from the crime scene, witness testimony from people who knew both Castillo and Sandy, and his flight to Mexico immediately after the murder. Could he fight extradition? He could try, but it's unlikely to succeed. The charges are serious, the evidence appears strong, and the US-Mexico extradition treaty is well established. Why this case matters? The FBI 10 Most Wanted list works. Since its creation in 1950, 94% of fugitives placed on the list have been caught. Castillo is just the latest proof. International cooperation is essential. Modern criminals don't respect borders. Law enforcement can't either. This case required coordination across countries, languages, and legal systems. Time doesn't erase accountability. Castillo had nearly 10 years of freedom, but that freedom came with a price, constantly looking over his shoulder, always wondering when they'd find him. Justice delayed isn't always justice denied. Sandy's family waited a decade, but they didn't wait in vain. The bigger picture, there are lessons here beyond this one case. For fugitives, running doesn't work. The FBI has patience, resources, and global reach. Whether it takes 1 year or 10 years, they'll find you. For families of victims, the system doesn't always move fast, but it can still deliver justice even after years have passed. For law enforcement, persistence matters. Cases don't solve themselves. They require dedication, cooperation, and refusing to give up even when leads run dry. Final thoughts. Alejandro Rosales Castillo's story is one of betrayal, murder, escape, and finally, capture. A $1,000 debt led to a 23-year-old woman's death. That death led to a nearly decade-long international manhunt. That manhunt ended with an arrest that brought some measure of justice. Sandy will never get to live the life she should have had. Her family will never get her back. But they will get their day in court. And Castillo, after running for 3,426 days, his freedom is over. The FBI kept their promise. They never gave up. And that's why this case matters.